with that, we are back. Back to another year. Another year of grinding, trading, talking smack. It's back, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for a couple different reasons. One, we got a new face in the league this year, Mr. Chris Solis. He's going to be the guy with the no picture in that intro that I made. He deleted his Facebook for some reason. I don't know. He said he couldn't handle everybody getting all up on his business or something. I don't know. But he is new to the league this year. We also brought back Mr. Mitchell McKee. Dead Money McKee, we missed you very much. I missed having money in the pot that I knew that somebody else was going to collect because you weren't going to win. But with that said, he is back in the league, which makes Fisher no longer the Mitchell McKee of the league. Instead, now he is going to be himself. Go ahead and jump right into predictions, projections, whatever you want to call it. First matchup I got is Hernandez Blood Gang, Mitchell McKee versus Morning Woodhead Fish. He's actually got a pretty clever name this year. Right off the bat, I see Manning versus Newton. That's going to be pretty close to a wash as far as QB battles. Right now, I can see Frank Gore sitting over on Mitch's roster, but he did trade for Foster, which I think is a bad trade just because of his back issues. He's also losing Andre Johnson, so he's pretty much gutted his whole team. So his whole entire lineup is about to change here soon. Fish does have a pretty good team as far as he's got Calvin Johnson and Dez Bryant as wide receivers. When you got those two in your wide receiver core, you're looking pretty good. Wrangled CJ2K for pretty much nothing from Wes. I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to Fish on this one. He looks like he should probably win this pretty handily. I'm probably going to give him a 95 to 85 win. Let's go ahead and keep moving. Who do we got next on the board? Fish Stash Mania, Mr. Wes, who finished dead last in our league list last year, versus Zimmerman's Defense, John Goundry, always with the clever names. Jump right into it. This one's pretty easy. Wes, your team is horrible, man, and that's saying a lot because John's team looks pretty bad too, but your team is pretty dismal. When you're starting Mendenhall and Ben Jarvis Green Ellis as your two starting running backs, it's not looking very good. This one should be a pretty easy win for John. They're showing 99-94. I don't see that being a very high score. I see this one being in the 80s. John taking this one 86-74. Next up, 580 Check Your Six versus Mr. Awesome Headed to Italy. We have our runner-up last year, James Barrett, against Greg, who's pretty much a regular in our league. This year, for once, actually has a really good team. Yeah, it's been a while since Greg's been really relevant in the league, and he's made a couple trades, moved it around. He's got a pretty good deep team this year. James, on the other hand, went too heavy with his heart. He's got a bunch of 49ers on his team. You never draft the team you like that much. Right away, rookie quarterbacks from last year, we got Russell Wilson and Kaepernick. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty close matchup. Wilson's playing Carolina's D, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had a little better day versus Kaepernick going against Green Bay. The running back situation is Morris and Jackson on Greg's team against Spiller and Bush. Man, that's actually going to be a pretty close one. I would not be surprised if somehow Bush ends up having a really, really good year. Wide receivers are going to be in the favor of Greg on this one as well. This one is actually going to be a lot closer than the projections are showing. I see this one staying pretty high score-wise. I'm going to give Greg a slight nod, 100 to 99. Next up, we have Team Ostad. Please, for the love of God, John Ostad, if you were watching this, please, man, change your team name. Last year, you at least did Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Clever, classy, was funny. The year before, Team Ostad. Here we are in 2013, Team Ostad. Come on, man. Change it. I don't need a team name and a team name. I know what the team is. Okay? Do me a favor. Take like 5 minutes, get real clever, think up something, whatever it is. I'm going to like it because it's not going to have the team name in it. Just like last year, we had Team Money from West. Come on, guys. I know it's a team name. Get original. Get original, all right? With that said, Team Ostad for right now versus Umberto Means Shark, our defending champ, Nate McMillan. This is actually a pretty close one. This is probably... I would normally give this one the matchup of the week. That's how good this one is, but I'll bring that one up a little later. We got Brady against Flacco. That doesn't sound like a good matchup. I think Brady will have a better day, especially since it's against Buffalo's defense. But Flacco is playing in Denver. They could get fueled by last year's game. We'll see. Peterson and Lacy on Ossed's side. Lacy's a rookie. We don't know what he's going to do. We do know Peterson's a beast. But on the opposite side, the beast, Marshawn Lynch and Stephen Ridley for Nate. Right across the board, this one is pretty much even the whole way. These projections are not off. 100 to 100 right now is what it is, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that projection 101 to 100 in favor of Nate slightly. But if Brady goes off and the Seahawks D steps up, don't be surprised if Ossad wins this. This is honestly going to be a coin flip, and that's a pretty good matchup for Week 1. Lastly, we got Lawton Killers, Chris Solis, our newest member, against Philly Races Dog Killers, Mr. Ryan Osborne. Osborne's been making some trades, man. He's moving. He just added Frank Gore, Andre Johnson, and Vincent Jackson. Shipped out a couple other players, but honestly, his team is a lot deeper than it was at the very beginning of the year. And don't be surprised if he actually holds it down for a little bit. Solis, man, your team's looking pretty garbage. Unless somehow Aaron Rodgers and McCoy get you 60 points combined, you're pretty much going to get roasted on this one. This looks like going to be probably the biggest beatdown for the week. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Osborne, 96 to 80. All right, guys, that brings us to our matchup of the week. Normally, this would be Ossad versus McMillan because of how close their matchup is, but because of my past history with Keith Tillman being his daddy and all, this one is actually going to have to be our matchup of the week. I do have a little side bet with Keith. Winner does get naming rights for a couple weeks of the team, so kind of keep an eye out for that. Jump right into the matchup. Quarterbacks are pretty close with Stafford and RG3. Normally RG3 would be way better, but because of his leg, we don't know what we're really going to get. And I don't know if I'm going to get the Stafford from last year or the Stafford from the year before. Running backs are real tough. Ray Rice, MJD against Richardson, Doug Martin, and I got Forte coming in over on a trade. Wide receivers are really close, too. He's got a bunch of speedsters in Roddy White, Mike Wallace, Torrey Smith. And I got A.J. Green, and then we'll see what Danny Amendola gives me. This is overall a really, really close matchup. I know the projections are showing that I got it by 21 points. I don't think it's going to be that high. I do think I get the win on this one, though. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a victory at 103 to 95. But keep an eye out, depending on how tonight's game goes, that I am going to. It kind of depends on what Ray Rice and Torrey Smith are going to give them. So kind of keep an eye out. But that's the end of this Week 1 video, guys. Get up on the message boards, talk a bunch of crap.